Welcome back to my channel. It's me again. My name is Tekla Mkumbo. Most people like to call me TK. I like to call myself too blessed to be stressed. If it's first time for you to be here, you are very welcomed. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead, click that subscribe button. If you like this video or any other video, feel free, go ahead, like, comment, and share with anyone that you think they might like the content in the videos. So today, as we are approaching New Year, we are at the very last day of 2025. And I must say, personally, I am so grateful to see the end of 2025 because I can testify that 2025 did not break me. Okay? And I am standing here today. I am sharing this with you. It's only because God made a way. It was not by my own strength, it was God who made a way. So today, I want to share with you my personal testimony. So, where do I start? Early this year, I have been facing so many challenges in my life from every angle. As a mother, as a business owner, as a wife, as a sister, as a friend, as an investor, you name it. Like almost every aspect of my life, I have been facing challenges. And I can tell you the number of nights that I went to bed without crying, I think I can count those nights. Most of the nights I went to bed after crying for so long. And sometimes I would ask myself, God, why do I experience all this pain? Why so much disappointments? And I can't say that I would start to blame God for all that I was facing, because whenever I felt that way, I would always come across either a word or some preaching that will always remind me that when you experience so much challenges, there's something new that's about to be born in your life. It's like you are on the phase that you're supposed to transition from one season to another. So there will be so many challenges. Like God is actually molding you. He's preparing you for something greater. So in the beginning of 2025, I didn't know that. And I must say, 2025, in the beginning, I came across so much teachings that I didn't even know how I came across them. So I had this job during the night, and whenever I would be driving to go to that job, or whenever I would be doing that job, I would always be listening to something, either a podcast, anything. Okay, so, and I remember most of the podcasts I used to listen were from, Christian preachings. And I would find a word that would speak to me directly. Okay, so let's say if I had issues in my marriage, I would choose to select a podcast and they would be speaking about challenges in marriage. I would go sometimes. So this is something I tried to do one time. I said, you know what? If God is really trying to speak to me, let me just pick a random, podcast. So I would just say, I'm going to open my YouTube, and any video that pops up on top, that's the one I'm going to listen. I don't care what it's going to be about. And guys, when God is after you, you cannot hide. I would just open YouTube, and the first video that will pop up it will be speaking to me. I remember this particular day, I was asking myself so many questions, and I opened YouTube randomly, and the video that popped up first, it was from this certain lady. She's a preacher. I think she's Nigerian, but also she lives in the US. And she was explaining about, when God uses a woman, what are the things that she will be experiencing. And I was so surprised how she was describing what I was going through. And I remember another video that I watched was from Dr. Miles Monroe. So his podcast, his video was very straightforward. He was explaining when God wants to use a woman, what are the things that woman would be experiencing during that season. And I remember one of the things that he mentioned was that season you will cry a lot. So the minute I heard that, I started crying again. So everything made sense, and I told God, thank you and forgive me for all the times that I've been doubting you, for all the times that, I felt like, why does it feel like God is punishing me? What am I doing wrong? But actually, it was a preparation. So when I understood that, it didn't mean that I stopped crying. No, because some of the things are very hard to ignore. Like, they touch the deepest part of your heart. You can't help yourself than crying. So it reached a point I would cry and I would hold my head like this, because I would feel like my head was gonna, blow out. Or sometimes I would feel so much pain in my heart, and I would actually press my chest here where I believe the heart is. I would press it because I would feel like my heart was gonna explode. That was how much pain I was feeling during these nights. And I remember telling God, you know what, if this is your will, then give me the strength to endure, because sometimes it becomes so hard that I feel like I'm gonna lose my mind. And the best thing about God is that he will take you through all these seasons, but he will not let you fail. He will give you the strength to go through all these seasons, even if they're very hard. Okay. And this actually reminds me on all the examples of people in the Bible, like Joseph, when he was, sent to prison before he actually became the minister. Jesus was taken to wilderness to be tempted, So all these examples are actually things that made me realize when God is about to do a great thing in your life, you have to go through these seasons. So that gave me courage to actually, endure all these seasons. So I would cry, but then I would tell myself, you know what? It's gonna be fine. Okay. And that's one thing that I wanted to actually share with someone out there. If you are going through a very challenging season and you feel sad, you have questions, you don't even understand what is going on, just know that God is teaching you a lesson to stay humble and to have peace in chaos. That is one of the lessons that I learned. That even if everything was falling apart around me, I would still hold my peace. I would still show up to work. I would still wake up in the morning and do what I needed to do. I would still do everything that I was supposed to be doing. But deep down, I said it's only me and God that knew what I was feeling deep down. Okay, so this is the testimony I want to share with you today. Early this year, when I went to church, we had so many, men of God that came to church, and, they were ministering. And most of the time, they would call people and prophesy to them. So I remember beginning of 2025, I told God, you know what? I wish I would experience that one day. Like, I wish one day one of the, one of your men, the men of God, would call me and prophesy to me publicly, and I should actually connect with that prophecy. Like whatever they would prophesy, it should connect with what I actually go through. So I think after 3 months, early this year, around March or April, there was a day, it was a Sunday. I was so sad because one of my sisters shared with us a challenge that she was facing, and my heart was so broken. Like, I love my sisters, so whenever they're in pain, I am also in pain. So I remember that day I went to church, and after the pastor finished to preach, he started to pray for people. And he said, if you need to come to the altar, just come and pour your heart out to God. Whatever you want God to do for you, just come at the altar. I remember before he even finished his sentence, I was there, like kneeling down and praying so hard to God, and tears were just falling out of my eyes, begging God not to let all those challenges, to take my sister, because the season that she was gonna step into was not an easy one. It was gonna be so hard. So I was pleading with God. I was crying to God, on behalf of my sister, on behalf of our family, because some of these challenges, it might attack all of you. So I told God, please, may you not let this happen. We are your children. Help us. The devil is trying to ruin our lives, so please intervene. So as I was praying there, I thank God, the other of my sister that we go to the same church, my husband, everyone else that is family here with me, we were all at the front and we were all praying. Well, I think they were also praying for other things, but that was what I was personally praying for. And I remember as we were done praying and I went back, when the service was done, one of the ladies in church, she called me and she said, I need to tell you something. So she took me outside and she told me, so a few days ago when she was praying at her house, God described me to her. And she told me, God told her to tell me, it is done. At first I was confused. And then she explained to me that whatever you're trusting God with, God said I should tell you, it is done. I was so happy, and then I was a little bit still confused. But I was so happy because, someone actually had a message for me from God. So I remember I used to, thank God. After that, I used to thank God, whatever I want to do, I know you have said it is done. So I walk with that word that you just gave me, that, it is done, and I trust you. So I believe, you're not a man that you should lie, and your word will surely come to pass. Guys, last week in church, I went to church and there was a man of God from Nigeria. I have never seen this minister before. I love gospel songs, and Nigeria is one of the best, countries that I love their gospel songs. And I know most of their, of their ministers. But for some reason, I have never heard of this guy. And he seemed to be very popular. Like most people in church knew him. So when he started, to minister, it was a powerful session, I must say. Like, Nigerians, when they do it big. So when he was done, he started to call people out. I remember he called 3 ladies. So he called the first lady. She's a pregnant lady. She's actually from my country. And the second lady that was called, he said, the lady in red. So I was sitting next to my mom, and she was also wearing red, and I was wearing red. So when he said that, I asked him, by pointing my arm to my chest, like, do you mean me? And he said yes. So I went to the front. I'm gonna pin that clip somewhere. So I went to the front, and he called another lady as well who was kneeling down, because he started by calling people to go to the altar to pray. And I remember one of the people, my husband, went, but for some reason, this is something, when it's your time, it doesn't matter where you are, God will still get you. I didn't go to the altar that day. I was still standing at, at my chair. So the people were still kneeling down at the front, and we were called. So I went there, and I was like, okay. So he prophesied to the other two ladies, and then he came to me, and this is what he said.
My God, my God. Sister, so you have a beautiful face, your eyes is always dry, but the Lord said you've been crying behind. You've been crying in the closet, but He's here to wipe away your tears. Do you believe it? I put a testimony in your hands. Before the end of this year, you shall testify. Before the end of this year, you shall testify. Receive the touch of the Spirit. Can you just lift your hands?
So guys, after all I explained to you in the beginning of this video, I would like to hear your comments down at the section down below. That is my testimony. So I was shaking as he prophesied that to me, as he gave me that message. And I went back to my seat, still shaking. And the only thing that I could say was, thank you, God. Thank you for answering my prayer. Thank you for sending me your word. Thank you for your confirmation. So after the service, I wanted to go and meet the minister, personally. So I went to the office, and, after our greetings, we had a chat, and I started to explain to him how what he said really shocked me, but then how it confirmed that my God is real. Like, God is real. And he said, God is very real. And he said, I have never met you. You have never met me. But how would I know that you sleep crying so many times? I told him exactly. That is my point. You don't know me. I do not know you. And I told him, I know many, gospel singers, ministers. And probably if God would have used one of them, maybe I would say they know me. Probably, because we share some of our life issues. So I would say maybe because they know me. But God used someone that was totally a stranger to me. And I told him how I asked God in the beginning of this year, of 2025, to prophesy to me. So God did it for the first time, but it was not publicly. So God decided to do it for the second time, publicly. And I told him another thing. During the service, as he was ministering, he sang one of the gospel songs that I take that song very personal. It's the song that sings, my God is good, my blessings are always double down. As you know, I'm a mother of 2 sets of twins. So I always believe that whenever God blesses me, he does it twice. He just doesn't do it one time. He does it twice. So I told him, few times when I go to services, that song would play or someone would sing that song, and he sang that song that day. So I told him how the service was. I felt it was specifically for me. And I told him how God does things so that you are sure that, he doesn't gamble. It's not like he tries it. He does it so that you can say this is God. I like the saying that says, when God shows up, he shows off. Okay, so he decided not to prophesy to me one time, he decided to do it twice on the same year. And I remember I told him, I am so grateful that God said he sees my cries. And that reminded me, this 2025, one of the songs that whenever I used to sing, I would cry is, I think it's by Sinach. And it is the song, there's a part that she sings, even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, God is working. Even if I don't, I think it's say it or something else, God is always working. And that, gave me so much courage that sometimes we doubt, when we are going through all these challenges, if God is actually there, if God really sees all the struggles that we go through. But that day I was confirmed, it was confirmed to me that God sees all our struggles. God sees all the pain that we go through. And there's a reason for every pain that we go through. Okay? It is not a punishment. It is a preparation. So as I step into 2026, I am so much encouraged. I have an extraordinary courage to face whatever that's gonna come my way, because 2025 has really, really prepared me for 2026. And I thought I should share that with someone today. I know a lot of people have been sharing how 2025 has been a very, very tough year. So I just want to let you know that pain you went through was not a punishment. I know some of you lost your loved ones. I am so grateful. All the pain that I went through, it did not involve me losing any of the loved ones. For that, I am always grateful. So I want to remind you, the pain that you went through 2025 was not a punishment. It was your preparation for a very, very great thing to be born in your life. Have that courage. Let that pain remind you what you can endure. And do not face that pain alone. Have God with you. Ask God to help you, because without his help, you will perish. This is the word that, I like to say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And the Psalm says, even if I walk through the shadow of the valley, of death, blah, 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 I shall fear no evil, for I know you're with me. Okay, so let's normalize to read the Bible and have his word in us, because when you know what is written in his word, whatever comes your way, you will have the strength to endure that. So as I wind 2025, I am so ready for 2026. I will be walking with God. Like, it is God and me. That's it. I do not need anybody else. I don't need anything else. I just need God, because I know once I have him, I have all that I need. Okay? So join me, have that courage, and let us walk with God in 2026. Have a prosperous 2026, and may God bless you. May it be the year of your testimonies. Let's meet in 2026. Happy New Year, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And please subscribe.